I don't want any government officials on the DOGE because almost every single congressman, every bureaucrat or whatever in D.C. feels that America functions to provide for the government. The intent of the DOGE is to run the government as if its intention is to provide service for America. That's what our Constitution intends. We have to start looking at the government as what do these departments do to add value to the taxpayer instead of justifying its own existence. Joining me now, CEO of Open the Books, John Hart. John, I hope you agree with me on this. Am I off base?
No, Carl, that was a fantastic opening. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
And, I worked for Senator Tom Coburn, who was one of the good guys that actually believed in cutting spending. He not only believed it, he took action and did things to cut spending. He got rid of earmarks for a decade. He helped bring about the only real spending reduction since the end of the Korean War in the years 2012 to 2013. Now, we didn't go nearly far enough, but you're absolutely right that we already have a deficit commission. Do you know what it's called? It's called Congress.
Yeah.
And each member of Congress today can offer a $2 trillion plan. And what is stopping them from doing that? Nothing. Right. That is their job. So my hope is that I think Elon and Vivek are going to light a fire under Congress like we've never seen in American history.
Yes.
Because we really ought to have 535 competing DOGE plans before they put their plan out in 2026.
Well, the other thing, Elon can look Mike Johnson in the eye as probably the richest and smartest man in the world and say, I am worth $250 billion. I will fund a primary against every last one of the people that vote against it. That's like the kind of the thing with Donald Trump is he was just too rich to care, and he ran his campaign what he thought he wanted to do. And now we've got this mandate from the American people. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, there are some easy cuts out there. Did you know that only 6% of federal employees show up to the office in person? Oh, there you go, 94% gone.
That's right. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we have vacant buildings all over Washington, D.C. If you walk in, they're like mausoleums. So some of them have 0% occupancy. And you look at the federal buildings, you look at the massive amount of expansion we've had in the federal government over the past 40 years. But really, this has been a 100-year project of the left, is to build the administrative state year after year after year. And again, there have been a couple of pauses, really, and it wasn't it was because we, the people, got activated during the Tea Party era.
Yeah.
That's really why this happened. So I'm optimistic this could be different than what we saw during the Reagan years when we had the Grace Commission, Simpson Bowles. Because, Carl, the GOP is now a working class party. And what happened during those times is that the left would demagogue any efforts to cut spending as, oh, they're going to hurt poor people. This is going to put people out of work. Whereas now the GOP has the hearts and minds and the trust for now of the working class base, and they better retain that trust. And if they squander it, they're going to miss a historic opportunity to downsize spending.
Yeah. Well, Mike Johnson, as we played a little bit of his speech earlier, but I want you to take a listen to what he said today. Roll this.
You're going to see a bicameral cooperation, and it will be, by the way, bipartisan. Over the last 24 or 48 hours, you've seen a number of our Democrat colleagues, both in the Senate and the House, who have said, you know what? Sign me up. I want to be a part of this as well. So we welcome that. It should be a bipartisan effort.
Now it is. My concern is exactly what I said a few minutes ago, which is like I've never seen a group of people work so hard to accomplish so little.
That's right. Well, I think, again, look at what's happened in the past few days. You've had Bernie Sanders come out and say, I'm willing to work with Elon Musk on downsizing Department of Defense. Now, I would have a very different worldview than Bernie Sanders, but he's absolutely right that there's massive amounts of waste in DOD. And what we ought to do is take all the cost-plus contracts and redirect them to warfighting capability that's going to restore American deterrence overseas.
Well, how about a zero budget?
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. How about a zero budget? Like, you don't get your budget plus 2% every year. You have to come back every year and justify every single penny. Like, why did you spend $9,000 on a hammer and $30,000 on a toilet seat? No, nixed. Yeah,
exactly. So you can just, and it isn't just DOD, it's agencies like, our Medicare Medicaid system. We have $200 billion of waste and fraud that we can go after. We have duplication. We have grants that go out. We're spending, thousands of dollars even on drag shows in Ecuador. Like, how does that advance America's interest overseas?
Yeah.
And there's so much waste, stupidity in the Tea Party era. We got them to say, if you downsize and streamline government, you improve the quality of services for people because it's easier to navigate the bureaucracy. This is no-brainer stuff. Like if you weigh 300 pounds, you lose 150 pounds, you're a healthier person. We're going to be a healthier country if we downsize. And it's just total common sense to taxpayers.
Do you think any, I got less than a minute left, but do you think elected officials should have a shot at this or a bite at this apple? I say hard no.
Well, I think they have to. Well, let me put it this way. I think the DOGE process is going to be more effective if it's outside actors, if it's Elon, Vivek, our organization, like Open the Books, putting maximum pressure every day, constantly. But then Congress does have to act and lock in these savings, but they're only going to act if we keep up pressure and demand that they take action. And if they don't, they're going to be thrown out. That's the only way change is going to happen.
Well, John Hart, always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.